Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be starting my 2018 reading wrap-ups. If you guys don't know, the way that I do my reading wrap-ups where I talk about the most recent books that I've read is that every time I read 5 or 10 books, I usually do a reading wrap-up and talk about each book briefly, tell you my thoughts and my ratings on each one. I got a little bit behind last year. My last one I think ended up being like 30 books. Hopefully this year that does not happen, but today we're going to do 1 through 5. The first book that I read in 2018 is Arabella of Mars and the Battle of Venus. I did an individual book review for this, so I will leave that linked if you want to check it out. But this is the second book in the Arabella series. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. The series follows a young girl who grew up on Mars, and her mother feels that she is not a proper lady, so she sends her back to Earth. And in the first book, she finds out about this plot that's going to affect her family, and she tries to stop it. In this book, it obviously has something to do with Venus, but I really appreciated that David D. Levine kept Arabella's character extremely consistent. She's still very strong, and she still goes after the things that she wants, and she still doesn't give a crap if she is following proper rules for a lady or anything like that. She knows what she wants, and she knows the style of life that she wants to live, and she's going after it. I did find, however, that this book wasn't as compelling as the first one, and I didn't enjoy it as much in the end as I did Arabella of Mars. I also just didn't really like the love triangle that was happening in this at all. So I ended up giving this book 3 stars, but after I finished reading it, I read the afterword where the author talks about everything that was happening in his life while he was writing this book, and then I felt a little bad for rating it 3 instead of higher. But for everything that was happening in his life, this book is amazing, and I definitely recommend this series for people that like science fiction, or even if you don't, if you just like adventure novels or anything like that, I think you'll really enjoy this. Next, I read Darkness of Dragons, which is book 10 in the Wings of Fire series by Tui T. Sutherland. This finishes up the second arc in the Wings of Fire series. So far, each 5 books has been an arc, and so I was really happy to see where this one was going to end up, because I was really enjoying the characters that she introduced in this second section of the Wings of Fire series. I've talked about this series so much on my channel. In this world, there are so many different types of dragons. There's different dragon tribes, and each one is led by a queen. All the dragons have different abilities and different ways of thinking about the world, and they all have their own enemies, and it is so fun. It is a little bit more violent than normal middle grade. The series might have gone into more of the YA category with this second arc, because it does deal a little bit with dragons figuring out who they are as people, instead of in the first arc where the dragons are more figuring out what the world actually is like. Anyway, I really enjoyed this book. I think I ended up giving this book 5 stars. It's not the strongest of 5 stars, but I loved it so much, and I love that she set up so many small new things that she can continue the series with, that I'm just really excited to see the next book that comes out. In this one, we follow a character named Kibli, and all his life he's been dealing with this inferiority complex where he thinks that everyone else is better than him, and he just wants to be as powerful or as important as other dragons. So I really enjoyed seeing his story and how he developed as a dragon, I guess, not as a person, throughout this novel, and how he became more confident over time. But yeah, I just really love the Wings of Fire series. I definitely recommend it. I have now read 10 books, and I'm reading the prequel right now. I definitely think that you should read the prequel after you have read the first 10 books. After that, I read The Black Tides of Heaven by J.Y. Yang. This one follows 2 twins that are living in this silk punk world, and the twins' mother is the protectorate, who is kind of like an empress, and she has so much power over everything that happens. But the twins are given to the Grand Monastery, so they grow up away from their mother and away from their siblings, and so they have a little bit of a different view on the world than their family do. In this world, you're not born with a gender identity. You get to decide what that is later on. So everyone has they and them pronouns until they do what's called confirming, and that's confirming as male or female, or staying unconfirmed and being non-binary, which is what the author is. The author is non-binary. There's also a really cool magic system in here, which I just really enjoyed, and I really enjoyed this novel as a whole because I liked the main 2 characters and following them while they ran around this world trying to save it. I did an individual book review for this as well, and I'll leave that linked if you want to check it out, but I definitely recommend this one, and I gave it 4 stars. After that, I picked up and read very quickly Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman. This is the second book in the Arc of Scythe series, and I did an individual book review for this as well, which I'll leave linked if you want to check it out. In this series, you follow two characters, Citra and Rowan, as they are chosen to become scythe apprentices, and in this world, scythes are the only people that decide who live and die. Humans have developed to the point where they can just do what's called turning the corner and turn into younger versions of themselves, and their technology is so advanced that even if they die doing stupid things like jumping off a building, they're only deadish and they can be brought back to life and keep living. So the scythes in this world are extremely important because they keep the population somewhat contained, even though the population of people on Earth has grown exponentially and still does. Obviously, with the scythes having to kill so many people, it affects them mentally, and so following this group of people in this world where they don't really have anybody to control them, but they are controlling everyone else, it was really interesting with the power dynamics between it and this AI system called the Thunderhead, which takes care of everything else. There are no governments in this world, and the Thunderhead takes care of everyone on the entire planet. So it's basically the Scythedom a little bit versus the Thunderhead, although they work in parallel and not against each other. There's still somewhat of some tension because they're not allowed to cross paths. I don't know if I made any sense talking about that, but I absolutely loved this book, and I do a little bit of a better job talking about it in my review, so definitely check that out if you want to. I just cannot wait for the next book in this series because it ended super crazily, and I gave this book 5 stars. That's how much I loved it, which sucks because I have to wait almost a whole year for the next one, but yes, I definitely recommend this one. Am I making any sense in this? And the 5th book that I read in 2018 is Saga Volume 7 by Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan. If you guys don't know, Saga is a very popular comic book series on BookTube, and it follows this man from the moon and a woman from the planet, and their celestial bodies are at war against each other, but these two end up falling in love and having children and starting a family, but both of their people want to kill them because they don't want anyone to start liking each other, kind of thing. They want the people from the moon and they want the people from the planet fighting each other. So the whole series is in the perspective of a young girl, and these are her parents, and they're running away and trying to survive. Here is what some of the artwork looks like. I will say that this comic book series is very adult. I'm trying to find a page that's not inappropriate. There's sex and bad words and everything like that, so not for the youngest of readers, but if you're mature enough, I definitely recommend it. I gave this one 4 stars, I believe. Saga in Volume 5 started to lose the plot for me, and I wasn't enjoying it as much, but then 6 kind of got it back on track, and this one is just continuing that. And I hope that this series continues to be at this level instead of just a huge kill fest that is more for shock and awe than it is for story. So those are the first 5 things that I read in 2018. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below what you guys have been reading this year. Is there anything that you're wanting me to read sooner rather than later? Do you have any recommendations for me? Anything you want me to know, leave it down below in the comments, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.